snowballs. Why'd you put your helmet on for that?
I put my helmet on for every challenge.
Why?
Just because I never throw in a game without a helmet. So it's harder to throw with a helmet on. So you just challenge yourself a little bit more.
How much do you hate losing to Coach Payton?
Yeah, we hate losing to Coach Payton. He's found a way to win a couple in a row here too. So we better step it up against him. We weren't expecting the whole idea with the snowball was that you throw a nice firm ball that takes the ice off. It just looks better, right? It kind of has an effect. But that's also harder because you got to be more accurate than the lollipop approach. He took the lollipop approach.
Drew, how impressed have you been so far? It is early, but the training camp, Corey Fuller and Brandon Coleman, when y'all watch NFL. So like Coleman, not just possession receivers making big plays.
Listen, yeah, Brandon, there's really not a guy who I have more trust in than Brandon Coleman, honestly. I played with him now for a long time, and I feel like he's a guy who can play every position. He can play X, he can play Z, he can play inside. So his versatility in this offense is really good. He's a very smart player, and he's been a guy who's just done whatever we need him to do over the last few years. Obviously with Brandon Cooks being a featured guy, and with Mike Thomas coming on last year, and with Willie getting his touches, and Brandon's just kind of had to get in where he can fit in. And yet there have been those moments where he's come up with some big plays, some big catches, some big third down conversions. A go route, a vertical. He's a big target that, again, I have a lot of trust in, and I think we've had enough time on task together now, from training camp to just time that we spend on our own together, where there's a great amount of confidence I have in that.
That I guess means Corey Fuller has his work cut out if he's going to try to get into that group of.
Yeah, I mean, so then to talk about Corey, so I've had more time with Brandon. I've had this is going on 4 years with Brandon, but just in the short amount of time with Corey, Corey's a veteran guy, and so he came from Detroit where he played a lot. It really kind of took the place of Calvin Johnson when Calvin Johnson was hurt for that stretch there over the last few years. So Corey's played in a good system with a really good quarterback in Matthew Stafford, and so coming here, I feel like he's got some knowledge and just some savvy to him, from having played the game and having some experience under his belt. And I think he fits into our system well. I think there's a lot of things that we can do with our system and him that put him in positions to work to his strengths. So again, I think he's a guy who can be very productive as well.
What allowed Michael Thomas to skip past the time on task and immediately develop that rapport?
No, I mean, listen, it took time with Mike too. I mean, I'd say kind of the next level went with Mike somewhere, mid-season. It wasn't just an instantaneous thing, and I think we slowly began to incorporate him more into the offense. And I don't know, I think there is, for any young receiver, you come in and yes, there's raw talent, but then there's just the fundamentals of playing the position, at this level. You can't just rely on talent. You got to have discipline. You've got to have your releases versus bump and run. The way you set up routes. The nuances to our system and the concepts within our system. It just takes time to kind of understand those and then be confident with them. So I think in the beginning you're thinking a lot, you're processing a lot as you're playing. And it doesn't really allow you to maybe play as fast as you normally would. But now you're at a point where, man, you know the looks, the adjustments, and you can play faster.
I know it's early. He has 4